Since 2007, human interaction with technology has been entirely defined by touching glass. We tap grids of apps, we click buttons, and we navigate complex, nested menus. But the biggest tech companies on Earth have realized that the screen is a massive bottleneck. The next era of computing is not about better apps or higher resolution screens. It is about the complete eradication of the graphical user interface. Welcome to the invisible world of AI agents. A product manager sits in a glass-walled conference room, laptop open, eyes fixed on a single task, booking a business trip. The process is supposed to be simple, but the reality is a maze of screens, passwords, and endless switching. First, she opens her calendar to check meeting dates, then the airline app to compare flights. Next comes the hotel booking site, then the company's travel policy portal. Each step demands another login, another authentication code, another copy-paste of confirmation numbers. By the end, she has toggled between 6 different apps, copied her itinerary details 3 separate times, and entered her credentials at least 4 times. Nothing about it feels seamless. This isn't an isolated pain point, it's the daily grind for millions. Usability studies confirm the scope. Trip planning and booking workflows typically require between 4 and 6 app switches, 2 to 4 manual copy-pastes, and at least 3 logins just to complete a single reservation. The average worker spends up to 25 minutes on what should be a straightforward task, with nearly half that time lost to navigation, waiting on load screens, or hunting for the right field. A 2023 report from the Baymard Institute found that e-commerce checkouts and travel bookings are riddled with friction, manual data transfers, repeated password prompts, and error-prone form fields. In one study, 28% of users encountered 3 or more login requests in a single multi-step purchase. The cost isn't just time, it's focus, energy, and trust in technology that was supposed to make life easier. Behind every tap and click is an invisible tax on human attention. Each app is a silo, forcing people into the role of digital courier, shuttling information from one walled garden to the next. The promise of connected software has given way to a reality of fragmented workflows and cognitive overload. Product teams know the numbers. Users endure an average of 7 hours of screen time daily, much of it spent bouncing between apps, tabs, and services that can't talk to each other. The result is AP fatigue, a creeping sense that the interface has become an obstacle rather than a gateway. This is the bottleneck at the heart of the digital age. The graphical user interface, once hailed as the great democratizer of computing, now stands between people and their goals. It's not just about inconvenience, it's about the cumulative cost of being the middleman in your own life. And as frustration mounts, the tech industry is forced to confront a hard truth. The tools designed to empower users have, in many ways, turned them into the product. The next chapter isn't about adding more apps or smarter chatbots. It's about breaking free from the screen's grip entirely. The promise of artificial intelligence often arrives in the form of a glowing chat window. You type a question, and the system responds, sometimes with uncanny fluency, sometimes with a hallucinated answer, but always with the same hard stop: text in, text out. No matter how clever the model, the conversation ends at the edge of the screen. For all their language prowess, today's large language models are, as Stanford's Percy Liang puts it, an incredibly smart brain without any hands. They can explain how to book a flight, outline the steps to reset a password, or draft a polite email to a hotel manager. But when it comes time to actually do any of these things, the user is left to carry out the instructions, one tap and copy-paste at a time. This limitation is not a bug, it is a fundamental boundary. LLMs are built to predict and generate language, not actions. Their architecture is designed for sequence completion, not execution. They cannot perceive a web page, click a button, or enter credentials into a banking app. The interface is a wall, Everything passes through the narrow channel of text, with no way to reach back into the world of apps, forms, or screens. The result is a system that can theorize endlessly, but never act, leaving the heavy lifting to the human on the other side of the glass. For developers and researchers, this bottleneck is more than an inconvenience. It is a technical ceiling that shapes what AI can and cannot do. Validation errors in AI-driven workflows provide a clear example. When a model expects an object but receives a list, the entire pipeline grinds to a halt. The system spits out cryptic messages like input should be an object, and waits for a human to debug the payload, fix the schema, and try again. Each error is a reminder that chatbots, no matter how advanced, are still reliant on people to bridge the gap between intention and outcome. Percy Liang's research highlights this gap. LLMs excel at language, but they lack the capacity to interact with digital environments. They cannot see what is on the screen or manipulate software beyond generating instructions. This is why, despite years of progress, chatbots remain stuck in the role of advisor rather than agent. They offer guidance, but not relief from the manual drudgery of digital life. The industry's quest for agency is a response to this impasse. As long as AI remains text-bound, it cannot free users from the friction of the app. The next leap is not about smarter conversation. It is about giving AI the ability to perceive, decide, and act. Until then, the most sophisticated chatbot is still just a brain trapped behind glass, brilliant but powerless to move the world. The agentic shift Silicon Valley has a new obsession: agency. In boardrooms and research labs, the phrase large action model, spelled LAM, circulates with the urgency of a code red. The old promise of AI was intelligence, a chatbot that could answer questions, summarize documents, or draft polite emails. But intelligence, it turns out, is only half the battle. The real breakthrough is agency, the power for software not just to think, but to act. A large action model is not another chatbot. It is a system built to perceive, decide, and execute. Where a language model like GPT or Claude can generate a list of instructions, a large action model can follow them, clicking through a travel portal, entering passwords, filling out forms, even handling failures and retries. The technical leap is subtle but profound. Instead of being trapped in a text box, the model now sees the world as pixels, interprets buttons and fields, and manipulates the interface like a digital ghost. The screen becomes a canvas for action, not just a window for advice. Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, describes this as teaching AI to use your computer like a human, seeing the screen, moving the cursor, and clicking. His team's computer use beta, launched in late 2025, trains agents with vision language models to parse screenshots, identify UI elements, and execute multi-step workflows. The model learns by watching humans work, imitating their clicks, keystrokes, and navigation patterns. Reinforcement learning closes the loop, rewarding successful task completion and penalizing failure, until the agent can handle real-world unpredictability. The core enablers are a stack of technologies: vision models that convert pixels into semantic maps of the interface, action planners that translate goals into sequences of clicks and keystrokes, and secure credential delegation so the agent can log in, transact, and recover from errors, all without exposing secrets. This is not just automation, it is dynamic, adaptive, and crucially, autonomous. The agent can backtrack, replan, and even ask for clarification if it encounters an unexpected prompt or a broken workflow. The term large action model is still new, more a Silicon Valley shorthand than a formal academic category. But the stakes are clear. If large action models work as promised, the graphical user interface is no longer the bottleneck. The user is no longer the courier. The AI becomes the actor, and the human, for the first time, steps back from the glass. Agency becomes tangible when an AI agent does more than suggest actions and actually takes them, moving a cursor, clicking through screens, and navigating the digital world with a precision that used to belong to humans alone. In Google Research's labs, Jeff Dean and his team have wired models to watch, interpret, and act, transforming screenshots into instructions, mouse movements, and keystrokes. The process appears straightforward. The agent receives a screenshot, parses the pixels, and decides what to do next. But the reality is far from seamless. Headless browser pipelines form the backbone of this new automation. These invisible Chrome instances log in, fill out forms, scrape data, and cross boundaries between apps and browsers, all without a single window opening. Vision language models read screenshots as maps, picking out fields, buttons, and error messages with uncanny accuracy. Yet the system's fragility is exposed by the smallest irregularity, a missing field, a stray comma, or a schema mismatch. Pydantic, the data validation library favored by back-end engineers, is notorious for its blunt verdict. Input should be an object. When an agent expects a JSON object but receives a list, the error is immediate and absolute. The workflow halts, and the problem lands back with a human. Each failure is a reminder that these agents are only as strong as the code and contracts behind them. Browser automation can fill out travel forms, book tickets, and even handle two-factor authentication, but it falters when the unexpected appears. A modal pop-up, a shifted button, or a new CAPTCHA can send the agent into a spiral of retries and errors. Debug logs fill with stack traces and validation complaints, each one exposing the unpredictability of the digital world. Jeff Dean and his team know these limits well. Their agents are fast and tireless, but every shortcut reveals a new edge case. For now, the mouse moves on its own, but the human hand is never far away. Ambient computing. A new frontier is taking shape, not on a glowing rectangle, but everywhere. The smartphone, once the hub of digital life, now looks more like a relic than a revolution. In its place, ambient computing is dissolving the boundaries between human intention and machine action. The goal is no longer to make screens smarter, but to make them disappear. Wearables are leading the charge. Smart glasses slip into daily routines, offering a whisper of information in the periphery. Wireless earbuds become constant companions, tuned to every spoken command and environmental cue. With microphones and cameras always on, the agent is no longer a tool you pick up, but a presence that listens, learns, and acts, often before you realize you've delegated the task. Mustafa Suleyman, co-founder of DeepMind and Inflection AI, describes this shift as the moment when the assistant moves from being an app on your phone to living in your lenses and ears. The agent becomes a shadow, trailing your every step, ready to book a ride, pay a bill, or reschedule a meeting at a murmur. The hardware numbers tell the story. Analysts at IDC report that shipments of smart glasses and hearables have doubled since 2023, with Meta, Apple, and Google racing to embed AI agents into every wearable form factor. Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses, Google's Android XR prototypes, and the Humane AI pin all promise a world where the interface fades into the background. The assistant is no longer summoned, it is ambient, always watching for the next opportunity to help. But this ambient presence comes at a price. Sensing is continuous, not episodic. The agent must have access to every calendar, inbox, and payment credential, listening for intent and acting on your behalf. The friction of the app is replaced by the friction of trust. What was once a conscious act, tapping a button, confirming a transaction, becomes an invisible hand shaping your digital reality. The trade-off is stark: convenience for control, invisibility for agency. As agents become constant companions, the stakes rise. The question is no longer whether you want help, but whether you can opt out at all. The world becomes the interface, and the agent is always on. The web's invisible economy runs on human attention. Every ad impression, every affiliate link, every sponsored result depends on real people loading pages, scrolling through content, and clicking buttons. As AI agents begin to act on behalf of users, reading, summarizing, and transacting without ever rendering a visible screen, this foundation is starting to crumble. Publishers and advertisers are already feeling the shock. When Tailwind CSS, a popular software documentation site, found its traffic down 40% in 2025, the numbers told a deeper story. AI coding assistants had learned to generate code and answer developer questions instantly, bypassing the need for humans to visit the site at all. The result was an 80% collapse in revenue, forcing 3/4 of the engineering team out the door. This was not a slow decline. It was an economic cliff, triggered by the disappearance of human eyeballs. The mechanics are simple but devastating. AI agents do not see banner ads or sponsored content. They do not generate page views or trigger affiliate trackers. When an agent scrapes documentation or completes a purchase, there is no cookie to follow, no engagement to monetize. Pew Research found that the arrival of AI-generated search summaries caused click-through rates to drop by nearly half, an instant hit to publisher income. For e-commerce and affiliate businesses, the story is the same. AI agents transact directly, skipping the discovery journeys that once drove cross-sells and loyalty programs. Adobe and Visa report agent-driven retail traffic surging by thousands of %, but with no new value for merchants, just silent, automated transactions. What is left is a vacuum. The browser, once the gateway to the digital world, fades into the background as AI agents operate headlessly, stripping out everything but the raw task. The ad-driven web, built on the promise of human engagement, is left with empty storefronts and vanishing revenue streams. The collapse is not theoretical, it is happening in real time, and the ripple effects are just beginning to surface. A new kind of digital gatekeeper now stands between users and the web, hidden behind proprietary code, closed contracts, and agent-facing marketplaces. As browsers fade and AI agents take over daily tasks, power shifts to a few platform-controlled exchanges. These are not open app stores or public search engines, but tightly managed marketplaces where only approved APIs and credentialed data feeds can operate. The result is convenience on the surface. Agents book your flights, pay your bills, and order your groceries. But behind the scenes, choice is quietly narrowed by algorithms and policies that remain invisible and unchallengeable. Frank Pasquale describes this as a monopoly of choice, enforced not by obvious monopolists, but by unseen recommender funnels. When an agent selects a flight or a brand, it is acting on a mesh of commercial partnerships, API deals, and platform incentives, none of which are visible to the user. Meredith Whittaker, president of Signal, calls this the black box ecosystem. Agency is handed to systems whose priorities are set by corporate contracts, not by user needs. API partnerships now determine which services agents can reach. Centralized credential vaults decide which brands can transact. Recommendation algorithms, trained on proprietary data, steer choices toward preferred partners. The user's intent is filtered and routed through invisible deals, creating the illusion of choice while quietly steering outcomes. This is not a side effect, it's the operating system of agentic computing. Privacy, nightmare. Handing over the keys to your digital life is no longer a metaphor. In the world of AI agents, it's a literal transaction, one that opens doors not just for convenience, but for catastrophe. Imagine an agent with access to your bank accounts, email, calendar, and payment cards. Now imagine that agent compromised, its credentials hijacked by a silent actor in the background. Money siphoned, messages read, accounts drained, all without a single screen lighting up. Security experts like Bruce Schneier call this the ultimate nightmare scenario. A single breach cascading across every service you use, amplified by the agent's total reach. The risk is not hypothetical. Trusted agent protocols, designed to verify an agent's identity and scope its permissions, are already in development by payment giants and cloud providers. These protocols use cryptographic signatures to prove a digital actor is legitimate, but even the strongest identity scheme cannot prevent collateral damage if credentials are leaked or permissions are too broad. When an agent is authorized to act on your behalf, booking flights, transferring funds, resetting passwords, the blast radius of a compromise grows exponentially. Credential delegation, once limited to narrow OAuth tokens, now extends to full account access. The attack surface expands with every new integration. A single vulnerability, the wrong API exposed, the wrong token cached, can give an attacker the power to move through your digital world unchecked. Liability becomes a moving target. Is the user at fault for trusting the agent, or the platform for failing to contain the breach? Schneier warns that without strict boundaries and constant audit, the agent becomes both the gateway and the weak link. In this new order, trust is not just a feature, it's the only thing standing between autonomy and chaos. The age of visible choice is dissolving, replaced by agents that act, decide, and filter on our behalf, all behind the glass. Right now, 1 in 3 digital transactions already involves automated decision-making, invisible to users. As AI assumes the role of gatekeeper, the real question is no longer what we can do, but what we're allowed to notice. The interface hasn't vanished, it's just gone dark. Share your perspective below.